All right, Sheinelle Jones, welcome to Meet the Press.
This is such an honor to be sitting across from you in so many ways.
Well, it is such an honor to have you here. You and I go way back.
I know.
And I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished. So it means the world to be sitting here with you.
It's mutual.
Well, I want to start off by talking about this life-changing year that you have had. Sheinelle, you lost your beloved Uche, which you have talked about so openly. You have now written a book, which is on the New York Times bestseller list. You're named co-anchor of the 4th Hour of Today. Talk about what this journey has been like for you over this past year, Sheinelle.
You know, I think I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. Here's what I know for sure that I didn't know even just, a year ago at this time. It's that there is a common denominator. There's this common language in grief and motherhood. And when you put those two things together, the reaction that I've received has been bigger and more powerful than I could have ever imagined. I think about, even on a show like this, grief knows no color. Grief is not red or blue. Motherhood is not red or blue. Trying to do the best you can for your kids, whether you have one child, whether you're an aunt, whether you're a foster mom, or whether you're a grandmother, that's not red or blue, And so I've found a language that we can all speak. And I didn't even realize that when I set out to write this book. When I set out to write this book, I was just trying to get a little bit of help in managing a busy career and 3 kids. I wanted to just do the X's and O's of parenting. But what I ended up with all these years later is something that I'm really, really proud of.
Well, your book, as you say, speaks to so many people. And in having read your book through Mom's eyes, I didn't realize how much I would learn and how comforted I would feel about parenthood just by reading your book. So let's talk about this beautiful work
That's
that
like a
you
hug
have.
to my soul when I hear you say that, because it's all I wanted. I used to picture when I was writing this, sometimes I look at this book and there were days where I was in my car in a parking lot and the boys were at soccer practice and I was like talking into the notes section of my phone, or a day where I'd be sleeping, I'd wake up and I would talk into my phone again, or I would grab my laptop. So I remember where I was with all of these chapters. And I just kept envisioning a mom like you, or a mom, maybe a grandmother, or just someone. And I wanted her to feel less alone. I wanted her to feel affirmed. I wanted her to think about this thing called motherhood. I wanted her to, even on the hard days, realize that it's a gift. And so to hear you say that, it's like, okay, that was my intention.
It is a gift. It is a gift. You talk to moms of incredible people, actors, actresses, athletes, people across the spectrum, and you get their perspective on motherhood. And I wonder what it was like for you to write this book. As you say, there is probably no busier person, a mom of 3, and enduring all that you did over this past year. What was it like to write this book?
I started this segment in 2018. Steph Curry's mom, Sonia Curry, was my first yes. I flew to her house and we sat in her beautiful home at the time where they grew up. And I remember looking at the pictures on the wall, the family pictures, and seeing his childhood bedroom with trophies and posters, and I just thought, I love this, hearing from a mom what she did right, what she would do differently. She was very open about things that she would do differently. And I remember flying back home. First of all, I was like, okay, guys, Steph Curry has chores, you're getting chores. But on a deeper level, I just felt like I'm a storyteller. And I really appreciated the fact that these women were able to sit down with me and just share what they've learned, hoping that another woman would perhaps maybe learn from their journey, And I loved it as soon as I started it. And a couple of years in, fast forward to 2020, during COVID, I feel like during COVID, a lot of people had these awakenings, right? People were baking bread, people were questioning their careers, we all had this reckoning. And I remember during 2020 telling Uche, I said, I think I wanna write a book. And he was like, really? And I'm like, with all these women I've been interviewing, maybe I could sit down and read over the transcripts and see if I could find a common thread. If you take all of these people who've done pretty well in life, and whether they're an athlete or a rock star, a musician, a scientist, could I find a common thread amongst all of these women? Maybe something they did or something that I could learn from. Let's try it. And that was my goal. I got out all the transcripts and I started to journal and what I remembered from each mom and what I learned. And that's how this happened. And that was 6 years ago. And now here we are.
6 years.
And look at how my life changed.
In 6 years.
In 6 years, in that time.
Your heart into this. You wrote this book against all odds, Sheinelle, and you talk about a through line. Was there a through line that you found, a common denominator that these moms talked about that stood out as a value that they all shared?
That's a really good question because, when I started this journey, I had 3 under 5, and now I have 3 teenagers, right? And what I have learned is that this book keeps giving back to me, and it doesn't even matter what phase I'm in my parenting or in their childhood, right? So I think one common thread is that they were all present. There's power in your presence. And for the working mom, the traveling mom, the busy grandmother, it doesn't have to be all day, but the times that they were with the kids, they leaned into that child's passion as well. And so I talk a lot about my grandmother, and I think it's important because my mom was working, right? And so she didn't have to have the mom guilt, even though I'm sure she did, because it's okay to spend time with the grandparent or the babysitter or the Sunday school teacher. All of those people can pour into your child in a way that they can use later, And so I think the power of being present is one for the kids. But what I also underestimated is what I gained as a woman and as a parent. And I realized whether it was Shaq's mom who had some challenges and decided to get her a degree in her 40s, or whether it was the Jonas Brothers' mom who, when she realized that they were successful and they didn't depend on her for meals or laundry, she had to question, who am I in all of this? Or Wanda Durant, who was a single mom. I remember I had interviewed her, the chapter was almost finished, and then Uche got sick. And I remember writing her chapter, and I thought, oh my God, she's a single mom, and she talked about the challenges of being a single mom. And I remember thinking, oh my God, is that gonna be me? And then eventually it was me. And so who would have thunk, if you will, that this woman who's talking about being strong and how being a single mother can be challenging, but there's still light there at the end of the tunnel, that gave back to me in a way that I didn't even know I was going to need.
Well, there's so many lessons, so many remarkable lessons in this book. And you talk about Steph Curry's mom. And she told you, I'm going to quote what you write in this book, what God places inside the child when they're born, what they're going to be, our biggest role as the adult is to get out of the way and let them unfold the way God intends for them to unfold. What impact did hearing that have on you?
It gives me chills all over again. Because we try so hard to scaffold our kids and to make sure they're doing the right thing and reading the right books and having conversation and getting a tutor if they need to. All of these things we try to control. But that almost gave me freedom because you can't control everything. We didn't control them coming. Before I did this book, I did a documentary on fertility. I have so many girlfriends who are still in the fight and just want one, And when you have one, you realize how many factors have to come together for that one to happen. And so if we didn't control that, who are we to think that we can control what this child is going to be or what they really want to be? And so it's almost like if a woman like Sonia Curry says, you know what, find their passion and then just lean into it and let them find it. I thought, okay, that takes a little bit of the pressure off of me. All I have to do is just try to show up and be present and be patient and listen, but it's not mine to control.
When I read it, there's something liberating.
It's liberating.
In that message.
It's not your fault. You're not gonna mess them up. Grandmama said, my grandmother used to say, we're doing the best we can with the light we have to see by. That's just the truth. Most of us are just trying to do the best we can, And so in addition to the X's and O's of parenting, which it is, I also hope it's a love letter to the nurturer, whether she's a mom or a foster mom or a teacher, whoever she is, and guys too, that they remember, one, that they're gonna be okay, And two, not to forget to nurture their own dreams. I also think that's important. You know, Wanda, Kevin Durant's mom, talked about the fact that she realized after they got older that she was hiding behind them. And quite often we can be so busy trying to make their lives perfect that we're not even thinking about our own hopes and dreams. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a certain career. It can be that you've always wanted to learn to play the guitar, or that you've always wanted to travel, or that you want to get out and power walk every morning. Like, those are things that you can still do, and you don't have to forget about who you are too, because I think it makes us better parents and better moms when we still feel nurtured on our own, you know?
You also write about Diane Gronkowski, Rob Gronkowski's mom, mom of 5.
5 boys.
You
who play professional sports all at one time. You know, the odds of having 5 kids play professional sports, you have a greater chance of being struck by lightning.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. So I thought, okay, what can you teach me?
Well, I love this section where you talk about the food that she provided.
Oh my
Half a
gosh.
cow.
Half a cow. And I laughed, and then I realized, oh, she's not kidding.
She's not joking. This is very serious.
Can you
This is how
imagine
she
going and
nurtured
buying
her boys?
Yeah.
I
and
can't
the
imagine
meals,
it.
half a cow, and the casseroles, and the practices, you know, to get to professional sports, whether it's Major League Baseball or the NFL. It takes a lot of food, a lot of Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
You know, we joke that if you're a sports mom, you don't get to see Saturday mornings very often because you're always traveling, you're at a game. And you know what's really interesting is I joked with her at the time my kids were little. I said, I just want to get to the phase where I can take a shower in peace and nobody opens the door. And she laughed a little bit, and then she goes, you're going to miss it. And then she started crying.
Wow.
And I said, do you miss it? She said, yeah. And so I remember flying back thinking, okay, as stressed as I am, and like, you know, I'm always trying to think about the next phase. I need to just slow down and recognize that her tears were so real. They were right at the surface, genuine. And it was a reminder for all of us to not wish this away.
Well, that was another gift of this book. Slow down, enjoy it, even the tough moments.
The tough ones.
Because it's all a blessing to have these kids. I thought one of the most compelling parts of the book, Sheinelle, is that you give your own reflections. And in real time, you talk about what you're learning from these moms. One example is you interview the mom of Venus and Serena Williams, and she talks about how it's important for her that they have a strong relationship. And you share that you have passed that message to your kids.
Absolutely.
You also share there are moments where they still bicker.
Oh my gosh, sometimes I hear them up there. It's like boom, 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 boom. My bedroom's under the boys' bedroom, and I'm like, what are they doing? And then I try to think of Oracene where she would say, sometimes you got to let them, you know, have their moment, you know. And Denise Jonas said the same thing, the Jonas Brothers' mom. Sometimes, even now, she said if the guys are tipping or whatever it is, let them have their moment, and they come out and they're just fine. You know what I've noticed is my twins will turn on me. Sometimes when I intervene, all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. So I just let them have it.
Sheinelle, why was it so important for you to be so deeply honest about your own challenges and struggles as a mom?
You know, I felt like, you know, I started writing this book and Uche was fine, right? And then I would say I was a little more than halfway through when he got diagnosed with glioblastoma. And obviously that diagnosis is horrible and it changes everything. And I didn't want to keep writing, but obviously he wanted me to keep writing. But I felt like these women were being so honest, and they have been so honest about their struggles, and some of them have been deeply personal. So who am I to write this book on motherhood and to try to reach women in a way that I feel like, I don't know, is needed in some ways, and for me not to be honest?
Was it hard to be honest, to share, to be vulnerable about some of what your challenges are?
My challenges aren't hard. You know, I do morning television, so I've talked about pretty much everything. The hardest part was talking about Uche's health, because he was not on social media. He was fiercely private. When he was ill, we didn't tell anybody. Our whole goal was to beat it and then give everybody our testimony, you know? And that was and I remember when it was almost time to be published, because it was supposed to be out last year. And I tried writing a little something about what we were going through, just a little bit. And I said, just take a look at it and just tell me what you think. And he read it and he was like, no. I said, but I don't want to be dishonest about it. And he was like, no, it's not my. it's almost like this was his journey, and he didn't sign up to be on the news and all of that. And so I wanted to respect that. And so after he passed, I really struggled with, okay, well, how much do I share? And so as you'll see in the book, his sickness, but how it was adjacent to the book, right? And so I talk about how, when he woke up from his first brain surgery, one of the first things he said was, "Where's your laptop?" And he wanted me to keep writing. And I felt like that was important to share, because the reality is, as I was typing this book, they do need to know that there were many days where I was in a hospital room typing this book.
I want to talk about Uche's impact on this book, which you couldn't have written without him.
I wouldn't be a mom without him.
Yeah. You say that you wouldn't be doing what you're doing without him in television news.
In TV news, we have what's called resume tapes and reels. He helped me make my very first, I remember my resume tape. I remember he was with me when I auditioned for Northwestern News Network at Northwestern University. He made my audition reel for NBC News. A friend of mine reminded me about that. I forgot about that. Like, he was a techie. He helped put it together, He
was your rock and your partner in every way.
I was 19 when I met him. I lost him when I was 47, So it's, he's been in my life. He is a main character in my life, if you will, And so I felt like I had to be honest about what we experienced, but I felt like I honored him in it because I focused on how he encouraged me to keep writing, but also to give him his due, because he was such a great father, and he was such a he was a triathlete. He would fly the kids all over the world to go to soccer games. He took them to school every morning. I've always done morning television, so he's always taken them to school, and all of those things, and I'm so thankful for that. And so it's so interesting how when I started this book, I was, a working mom with a husband who leaned in. It felt as good as it was going to get. I talk in my book about how, my mom was divorced twice, and I come from a blended family, so it wasn't perfect. But the life I was living was what was on my vision board. What was on my high school bedrooms. The TV news anchors and all of the things were on my high school bedroom walls. And so to meet this guy at Northwestern University and to fall in love and to get married and to have these 3 beautiful children and a life at the network, it was kind of like, thanks, right? This is great. And then you get this diagnosis that is unthinkable and unimaginable. It was a nightmare. It was a real life nightmare overnight. And so what does that look like for a person, and to write a book while it's happening is mind-blowing. Perhaps it was the therapy I didn't know I needed, right?
Well, you just referred to the fact that when Uche woke up from his first surgery, the first thing he did was encourage you to write this book. I want to read that section because it's so powerful. You say, after Uche had his first brain surgery, imagine my relief when Uche opened his eyes and looked into mine, fully there, fully aware, and understanding as I spoke to him, rejoicing in the recognition that he was still fully the man I knew and loved. Now imagine my surprise when he eventually started to speak. And one of the first things he said to me was, "Where's your laptop?" What went through your mind when he uttered those words to you, Sheinelle? Those words of love and strength and support beyond measure.
Well, at the time, I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't care about my laptop. Yeah. Are you okay? I don't care about writing a book. I don't care about anything. Like, let's just be here. He was like, no. And what I realize now, I think he also felt like it was important, obviously, for me to keep dreaming and keep going after things that I believed in. But also, I think it was a point of normalcy, because if I'm still writing and the kids are still going to school and we're all still moving forward, then it's like, he's gonna be okay too. It's just like, this is a little bump in the road, but he's gonna be okay too. And so I think there were days where, he's in the hospital and he would look over, and if I'm typing with my little chamomile tea, it was like, okay. We're still believing. The moment I give up, I say, no, I'm not doing any of that, I'm here, it was almost like giving up. Giving up the book was almost like representative or symbolic of giving up, and I wouldn't do that.
And he didn't ever do that.
Didn't.
And you sat by his side the entire time, Sheinelle. What kept you going?
I really believe that two things. One, I think it's the power of prayer. I think people were praying for me when I didn't even know they were praying for me. People who may be watching us right now, who I may never meet, but I want them to know that I felt their prayers because it felt bigger than me. It felt like, this superhuman strength, and I certainly don't know where it's coming from. I look back at pictures now at that time, and it's still traumatic for me, so I still think I'm still processing it. But even I marvel at how I was able to do it. And for so long, the kids still went to school, and I was still in the air, and I would do the show, and then I would leave, and I would go to chemo, and we'd do dinner, and then I would get up the next morning and just do it all over again. And I just did it. I felt like he was looking at me, and so I wanted to show him that I believed that he was gonna beat it. So I think I did that. And I also think it's interesting because as I was writing the book, I noticed that a lot of the now adults who are the children that we profiled, or the kids, stars and all of that, there were things that were poured into them as kids that then when you leave them, they pull on. I've heard this quote where as mothers, we can't always be their anchors, but we can be their lighthouse, right? And so I saw my grandmother lose my grandfather, and I saw the grace in which she handled it. My mom, I talk about in the book, who was divorced twice, would say, we gotta be tough. It's me and you, we gotta be tough. So the women in my life modeled this strength. And even the women in this book, they modeled this resilience that I didn't realize how much I needed to see. And so then in my worst moments, in my lowest moments, it's like, women are strong and mothers are fierce. And the mama bear in me and the mama lion, she took over. And in some ways, I put my own feelings aside, and I was there as a wife to show him that I was not going anywhere, and for my kids, that I'm right here, and I got this. And so you get this, almost like you see people in accidents who lift cars, and then later they don't know how they did it. It was that for me. It was lifting a metaphorical car.
I think people, as they've watched you come back to work, have been struck by your strength and your ability to put one foot in front of the other. And you do that for your three beautiful kids. And I wonder, Sheinelle, how do you know what they need, how to help them grieve in this moment and to be that strong mama bear for them?
You don't know. I mean, there are, for all the days that you see me on the air and having a good time and smiling, and as people say, she's living her best life, all of those things. There are an equal amount of moments that are in my room and I'm like crying, I'm in this king size bed and I look over and he's not there. There are, the first Christmas, first Father's Day, first Mother's Day, they have been excruciating because I still just can't even believe it. The hardest days, they're not Christmas. They're not the holidays. They are a beautiful Tuesday in New York City when I'm walking home from work and people are dining al fresco. Those are the hardest days.
When it really hits you.
Oh, or, the Sunday mornings where we would finally be able to make eye contact, and he read 1 billion newspapers. He'd watch me at the press. He was super into politics. If anything, he would be feeding me things. Make sure you do this. Or I would have an interview and he'd say, make sure you say this. It was like his thing. And so even to not have that is so hard. Even the day I found out I hit #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, I screamed. I was so excited. Who would have been my first call? Who would have been right there? Uche and my grandmother, and I don't have either one of them now, So it's the juxtaposition of the highest highs in life, having a show now, or all of these things, and then excruciating lows have all happened to me within 365 days. And so it's, when people are like, oh my God, congratulations, aren't you so happy? And it's like, yeah, I am, but, oh my God, you're in the cover of People magazine, that's so amazing. Well, it is, but it's because I'm resilient, because I lost my husband. So it all comes at a cost. And perhaps it's grounding in a way, it definitely has to be, to where I appreciate it and I'm grateful, but I also have a lot of heartbreak. So I hold two things at all times,
It seems deeply unfair that you lost your precious grandmother just 7 months after you lost Uche.
It's brutal. And I talk about her so much in the book.
You call her your person.
She's my person. So it's like, and even my mom, me and my mom are super close, my mom and I, but she knows too. It's just every once in a while you meet your person, and Grandmama was my person, and I remember when I told Grandmama I wanted to be a news anchor, and her eyes lit up, and she said, ooh. And I look back now, would I have been a news anchor if she wasn't so impressed with it? Was I working to impress her, to show her that I could, I remember, when she found out I was writing this book, she would call me, send me a chapter. Don't wait until it's finished. I'm so glad I did. I remember sending her the galley, which is the finished copy before you get the real book. And I'm so happy that she got to see how much I cherish her and stories. Some of them she felt bad that she didn't remember, and she would say, I did that. I said, yeah. Because again, it wasn't the Thanksgiving, it wasn't the Easter holiday. It was a random Tuesday after school when I was bragging that I volunteered to get out of AP English. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this is a great story since you bring it up. You're bragging to her that you got out of AP English, and you're chatting, and she turns the car around,
her Lincoln Continental
goes
around.
back to school, marches you into school, and signs you back up for AP English.
I was back to Beowulf the next day, literally.
And those are the strong women that you had in your life. Your grandmother would not let you back away from meeting your full potential.
And for all of us, think about how many times we're in the car and our kids are in the back seat driving us nuts, and we could just turn up the radio and not listen. But she turned it down and said, wait, what did you say? Oh, I volunteered to step out of the class. I volunteered to go to the easier class. It's not as crowded. What? It's not as crowded. Thank God she was listening that day. And so sometimes when we're just having the worst day and we get home from work and we just don't feel like hearing it, sometimes I think we do need to lean in and listen.
You say that losing Uche taught you how to be vulnerable. What do you mean by that, Sheinelle?
Because what really matters is connection. I remember being at his funeral service, and it was certainly a blur. I only looked back twice. The widow sits in the front. And I remember telling the organizers of the church that I expected around a couple hundred people. You were there. It was not just a couple hundred people. And I remember looking back, and I'm like, oh my gosh. For a life that was 45 years long or short, to have that big of an impact. And a lot of those people, most of them, weren't people that I had relationships with. They were his relationships, I remember being at the wake, and I remember being in this receiving line, and, I thought there would be a couple hundred people, and the line was wrapped around the place. And there was an older lady who came in line with her daughter, and she said, you don't know me, but I saw your husband take your kids to school on the train every morning, and we used to watch him. We would get on around the same stop, and he would talk to them. He'd make sure they were doing their homework. He just was such a good dad that we heard about this, and we hope it's okay that we're here.
Wow.
And that was the first time I cried, because it was just like, people are watching you when you don't even know they're watching, And so it's the connection that we leave on this earth and the connection that we make with people that matters. And so for me, knowing that, who am I to not be fully honest about what I'm feeling in a book about raising kids? I love kids. It was my first job in life. I worked in a nursery. And so in some ways, it's my way of giving back to kids is by pouring into their moms.
How do you and your kids keep Uche's memory alive?
God, first of all, my boys look just like him. Sometimes takes my breath away a little bit. Or the things they'll say, that they didn't even know he used to say. It happened to me just the other day, and I went, It's in the way, my little guy got in my bed yesterday, and he did this snuggle thing in the middle of this while he was sleeping, and I looked over and I went, because his dad did that. He doesn't know that, So in some ways, he's still with me in ways that I could have never imagined, and it's comforting. But in other ways, it's tough. Anybody who's grieving will tell you it's tough, in the moments, my kids are graduating middle school, we've got a high school graduation coming not far away. It's tough. I feel, I'm like, God, are you missing it? Can you see it? It's tough.
He would have been so proud of everything you've accomplished in these past few months, moving forward with this book, returning to work, Sheinelle, which is such an act of strength in and of itself, and then to be anchoring with Jenna. What has it been like for you to transition back into the all-star that you are on the Today
That's
Show?
a really good question. I think I'm changed. I remember Al Roker joked, he called it Sheinelle 2.0. Because you can't help but to be changed by something like this. I think I'm more empathetic. I think I am more patient. I think if I'm having a conversation, I can be here now. But I also know that tomorrow is not promised. And so I think if there are, people say it, when you get to the end, you don't want to feel like, you don't regret the things that you didn't try, you regret not trying. And so if that's a book or if that's a new adventure, a new pivot in your career, I heard this quote where it said, take the people that you love who you lost, take the quality about them that you love about them the most, and try to emulate that quality. So Uche was super driven and super competitive. And so, even when I wrote this book, I was like scared to dream that it could be on the New York Times list. But then there's a part of me that's like, oh no, he would. I wrote it. Let's go for it. My grandmother.
Now here you are.
Yeah, my grandmother was a tough cookie, no nonsense, first woman of color on the school board where I'm from. Just excellence, Black excellence. I can do that. I can embody that. And so for the people that I love, and look at my life over the last year, look at the wins. I don't think it's by accident. I do feel like I have some guardian angels up there that are like talking to the good Lord on my behalf. I feel that.
And the Today Show, and you've talked about this, is a place of joy.
It is.
It's a place of joy. It's a place of family, of celebrating the wonderful moments and also sharing in the really, really hard moments. As you say, people see you dancing.
I know. I really
up on stage in the plaza.
It's so interesting because I really worried about it. Of all the things I worried about coming back to work after Uche passed away, I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to laugh again.
But you do laugh.
Right.
How do you balance the grief that you feel with the joy that you still encompass
that I still have,
for viewers?
And it's so genuine, I think it's because I remember when my grandfather got a cataract removed, and he was like, the green is so, he was like 94 at the time. He's like, the green is so green. He's like, the sky, it's so blue. It's like the sky hasn't changed, the grass hasn't changed, but your perspective has changed. The boulder has been removed. And I feel like that loss and grief has done that to me. For me and to me. The blue is bluer, the green is greener. So if something is funny, if a kid is laughing, it's so beautiful to me because it's so special. If something is sad, it's really sad to me. It's almost heightened my sensitivity in that way. And it's become a superpower that I didn't know would be a superpower for me, When I read comments and people say, oh my gosh, her joy it gives me joy, they have no idea that was the one thing I was so worried about. It's bigger than me.
I want to talk a little bit about where this extraordinary journey that you've had began for you. You were born in Philadelphia, grew up in Wichita, Kansas. You did have images of TV news anchors plastered all over your bedroom wall as a kid growing up. Sheinelle, could you have dreamed this big for yourself professionally?
There's this quote, Oprah has said it, God has bigger dreams for you than you can dream for yourself. And I remember when I was a reporter in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I was a nightside evening reporter, that beat. And I would rush home every day and have a Pop-Tart and lean cuisine for dinner and watch Larry King live. I did that for years. That was, and I remember there would be days, and I remember there was the day that Oprah looked at Larry King and she said, God has bigger dreams for you than you could dream for yourself. And it was like, and I remember typing it out and printing it and putting it on my mirror and staring at that quote and thinking, could that be for me? I'm so thankful. I've always wanted this job and I loved Tulsa and, I was doing long distance with Uche at the time, but could there be more? And there was more than I could have ever dreamed.
Because you were open to it.
I was at the NBC affiliate in Wichita, Kansas, taking the scripts home and reading them into a tape recorder and practicing. That was me in college at Northwestern over the summer at the NBC affiliate in Wichita. And now fast forward to be across from you. And I used to see you in Philly. Do you know what I mean? We were both morning reporters.
Well, these are some of my favorite memories. Standing out in the snow with you, freezing, covering whatever breaking news story, you and I gabbing in between live shots. But it required a certain amount of grit. By the way, 2 seconds later, you were on an anchor desk in Philadelphia. Where'd she go? She's not standing in the snow with me anymore.
2 seconds later, we found out that Kristen Welker got a job at the network. And we were like, do you remember that?
I do remember that.
You were the beacon.
Oh,
we were like, wow. And I remember us sharing those moments in the dark on live shots.
Well,
we did okay, Kristen.
We did okay, Sheinelle. And I, by the way, I treasure those memories with you. And every time I look up at you, I remember back to those days in Philadelphia, standing in the cold and the snow and the rain.
At the end of the tunnel. We loved our jobs, but it was hard.
What was it about being able to have that type of grit that kept you going to get to this point?
I think that kind of grit got me through the worst times of my life, knowing how to pick up the phone and make a phone call. The same way I would have to be an advocate for someone who I'm telling a story for, or I used to be a consumer reporter. The same way I'd have to call a corporation on behalf of this consumer who's been ripped off. You know, the same way you turn that on and that grit and you just have to compartmentalize and do the job. I had to do that for my husband. And then the same way I had to do that for him, I almost had to do it for my kids. And in the same way I'm doing it for them, I have to do it for myself. In some ways, it does take a bit of compartmentalizing. But then when I get home, I put it all on the table and I allow myself to deal with all of it.
If Uche were here, what would he say about all you've accomplished in these just past few months, Sheinelle?
I just feel like he is here. It's like everything short of just letting me hear your voice and saying you're right. Like I get right to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm sure, but can you just give me a little more? I won't be scared. Just tell me you're okay. You know, it's the last little piece. But other than that, it's like I know it to be true. I mean, the things that have happened for me over the last 4 or 5 months just don't really make sense. They've been, now don't get me wrong, I have worked so hard for it. I've earned it.
You have earned it.
I know I've earned it. But the way in which it's happened and the timing and my prayer that I could model strength and resilience for my kids. And I know they're watching me. We may not talk about it all of the time, but I see them and I know that they're watching. And people who are dealing with grief who are watching right now, you know, people who are in hospital rooms right now. I just want them to know that I see them and we're going to be okay. If I can be okay, you can be okay. And in the meantime, if you have your loved one with you, then you be present and you lean in and you make eye contact with them and you love on them and let them know that you're safe and they're safe, they're not going anywhere. Your love is not going anywhere. And that's all I have even now, is that my love still lives on, you know?
Yeah. Sheinelle, thank you so much for such a beautiful conversation.
Thank you. You're the best.
You are the best. This was really amazing. Thank you.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.